From terrifying jump scares to emotional storytelling, Mike Flanagan knows how to mess with our minds and our hearts. I'm going to rank and review all of his TV shows. Number 5, The Midnight Club. I'll be honest, I wasn't as into this one as I was with Flanagan's other shows. The premise had potential, following a group of terminally ill teens who gather to tell scary stories, but here's where it lost me: the constant interruptions. You keep getting pulled out of the main narrative with the stories the kids are telling each other, and it really breaks the flow. Don't get me wrong, some of the stories were very interesting, but they often felt like they distracted from the core plot. And to make matters worse, the second season was canceled, so we never got a proper ending, which really leaves you hanging, unlike the other shows on this list that wrap up so well. Number 4, The Haunting of Bly Manor. This one took a softer, more gothic approach. Bly Manor is about love, loss, and memory. The story follows Danny, an American au pair who comes to Bly Manor to take care of 2 orphan children. But, as you'd expect, the house has its own dark history, and it's not long before strange things start happening. I have to admit, I wasn't a huge fan of this one. It really took me ages to finish. The story felt very slow, and it didn't hook me the same way as some of the other shows. That being said, I did like the ending. It was emotional and tied things up nicely, but it just took too long to get there. The pacing was a struggle for me, and it didn't have the same impact as Flanagan's other work. Number 3, The Fall of the House of Usher. Flanagan took classic Edgar Allan Poe tales and turned them into a modern horror tragedy. If you're a Poe fan, this is a love letter to his work, dark, twisted, and full of symbolism. The atmosphere was intense, and the family's unraveling was fascinating to watch. I didn't know where the show was going most of the time, and that kept me hooked. And I have to say, I loved the ending. It was powerful and tied everything together in a way that felt satisfying and true to the tone of the show. Even though the journey was unpredictable, the payoff was totally worth it. Number 2, Midnight Mass. Now, Midnight Mass, this was the first Mike Flanagan show I ever watched. And wow, I had no idea what I was in for. This show completely blew me away. The way Flanagan blends horror with these deep, existential questions about faith, forgiveness, and redemption is just brilliant. I remember going to the show thinking it was just another horror series, but it's so much more than that. The dialogue, especially in those long conversations about life, death, and faith, gave me chills. It's one of those shows that stays with you long after the credits roll. Number 1, The Haunting of Hill House. This one isn't just your typical haunted house story. It's a deeply emotional family drama wrapped in layers of trauma and grief. The way the show jumps between the past and present adds so much depth to the story, and you really feel connected to this family as they each deal with their own trauma. I found myself constantly trying to piece things together, and when those big reveals happened, they were so satisfying. I was actually watching this show while on my treadmill at the time, and let me tell you, I almost fell off on several occasions. But here's the thing, these scares aren't just there for shock value. They're embedded into the emotional core of the story. Hill House isn't just about ghosts, it's about the ghosts of our past that we carry with us. So, what makes Mike Flanagan's work stand out? It's not just about the scares, it's about the heart behind them. He takes horror and turns it into a way to explore the human condition. Whether it's grief, trauma, love, or death, he finds a way to make these themes feel real, even in the most supernatural settings. If you haven't watched these shows yet, you're missing out on some of the best horror storytelling out there. But what do you think? Which of Mike Flanagan's shows is your favorite? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more reviews.